Thanks for having me, mostly. I think, in general, when you speak publicly, you're supposed to remove your gum before you get to the podium. It's a good note. Let's see what we got up here. A Band-Aid. There we go. Nicely done. Problem solved. That was the last Band-Aid, so, try not to get cut. I could begin in a lot of places here for Little Caesar, but first, just to give you a sense of, this was as significant a gangster movie as has ever been made, as some of you may well know. Really the first gangster pick to fully humanize the hoods. And leading, by the way, also first gangster movie to sort of prove to Hollywood that talkies were here to stay. That sounds crazy to think in 1931 that there might have been a movement back to silent films, but there were plenty who were not sold yet, that the people actually wanted to hear what the characters had to say. This was the first non-redeemable gangster, right? Others, even in the Public Enemy to some extent, the same year, there'd be, and going forward, there'd be a good woman in his life, which might not stave off his death, but which would turn him around in some capacity. That is not the case here. That said, and the brutality and harshness here like had never been seen before, even though the director, Mervyn LeRoy, as you'll see, turned the camera away from the actual violence. You will not see any blood here, even though they probably could have gotten away with it, because significantly this movie was released in 1931. That makes this a pre-code Hollywood film. Production code existed in 1931, but it had no teeth. In 1934 is when it started making married people sleep in separate beds. I'll give you a little background on the production first, because I love this stuff. I hope you'll be interested in it. So the director here is Mervyn LeRoy. Now, LeRoy came to Warner Brothers first as an actor, and he was fired. He was a smart guy, quick on his feet. He moved over to First National Pictures, First National was a very big studio in the 1920s, a very important studio in Hollywood. And so LeRoy goes to First National as a director, where he is also fired. And on the day he's fired, he's leaving the studio, and Jack Warner, who runs Warner Brothers with his brother Harry Warner, is touring the studio because Warner Brothers has just bought a significant share in it, a controlling share in it, although the law would prevent Warner Brothers from merging fully with First National for 2 years. So actually, Little Caesar, often considered a Warner Brothers movie, is actually produced by First National and distributed by Warner Brothers. So Warner meets LeRoy, whom he had fired as an actor, and discovers that LeRoy has now been fired as a director. And Warner stops it. He's like, no, you're staying. And he reinstates him as a director. What's significant then is that begins for Warner and LeRoy a lifetime friendship, although Warner always referred to LeRoy as a great director with a little g, a line that I love, and I don't imagine it doesn't sound too friendly, but nonetheless they spent their lives as friends. So now the other part of this is that Harry Warner is Jack Warner's partner at this time at Warner Brothers, and they hate each other, or at least compete with each other aggressively. So Harry Warner, and they were constantly overruling each other without telling the other person that they were overruling. Like, for example, Jack Warner rehires Mervyn LeRoy at First National. He never tells his brother. So the guy running publicity at the time at Warner Brothers was a guy named Hal Wallace, who many fans of classic films will know. Hal Wallace, one of the great producers in the studio system. Hal Wallace famously produced Casablanca. And Hal Wallace has another great Jack Warner story. When Casablanca won the Best Picture Oscar and Hal Wallace produced it, he bounded up to the stage to get his Academy Award for maybe the greatest movie ever made, only to discover that the head of the studio, Jack Warner, was already on the stage accepting his Oscar. So that again gives you a sense of the dynamic of the relationships here. Nonetheless, Jack Warner recognized the enormous value that Hal Wallace had as the head of publicity at Warner Brothers. But Hal Wallace wanted more money than Warner was prepared to give. And this movie, starting really with The Jazz Singer, but this movie played a significant role, as did all the gangster films for Warner Brothers, turned Warner Brothers from a poverty row studio into the big Hollywood player that it became until today, still now. So Warner decides that to get Wallace to stay at Warner Brothers, what he'll do is pay him a salary and then let him privately do publicity for clients. Take on actors that need publicity work. When Harry Warner hears this, that Hal Wallace is not devoting 100% of his time to Warner Brothers, Harry Warner fires him. So Jack Warner rehires him without telling his brother, just like Harry didn't tell Jack when he fired him, rehires him, but not as the head of publicity, he hires him as the head of production at First National Pictures, which leads Hal Wallace into production, enabling him 11 years later to make Casablanca. So anyway, that's how Wallace gets there. That's how he gets to be in charge of this movie. Now, there's some discrepancy about every single one of them. Jack Warner, Mervyn LeRoy, Hal Wallace all said that they read W.B. Burnett's book on Little Caesar and wanted to make it into a movie. Literally, all of them said, I read it. It was my idea. I brought in the other two people. So I think Hal Wallace is the most likely to be telling the truth. Mervyn LeRoy also claims it was his idea to shoot the beginning of The Wizard of Oz in black and white and then turn it into color. Again, there are about 7 or 8 other people who claim credit for that, including, since I'm up here and the microphone is mine and the gun was out of my mouth, my grandfather, Herman Mankiewicz, one of the writers on The Wizard of Oz. Herman, for whatever it's worth, didn't spend a lot of time telling stories that weren't true. So anyway, Mervyn LeRoy, good guy, smart guy, good producer, workmanlike director, and a good producer. But anyway, all 3 of these guys claim this. And then LeRoy also claims that he always wanted Edward G. Robinson to play Rico, but no one else says that. And in fact, in Hal Wallace's account, they wanted to bring in Edward G. Robinson to play the character of Otero. And then according to Hal Wallace and to Edward G. Robinson, who significantly tell the same story, as soon as Robinson got there, he was like, there's no way I'm playing Otero, one of Rico's henchmen. If I'm playing this movie, I'm playing Rico. And famously, Robinson had already played a Capone-like character on the stage in a production of a movie, a production of The Racket. And so, to Robinson's account, there was absolutely no way that he was going to play anything else, and he talked himself, whether he talked Warner, LeRoy, or Wallace, but he talked them into playing the role of Rico. And then there's this wonderful quote from Robinson, who, as most of you know, he didn't look like all the other movie stars. Quote, I've always been grateful to Little Caesar because it proved, with looks like mine, there was hope for anyone who wanted to be a movie star. And now, you know, when you see, like my friend Dan Hamilton, who's here, he's the dean of the law school here at UNLV, reminded me of a great Saturday Night Live skit with Phil Hartman and Dana Carvey, where they play old-time gangsters, and the voice they do of, you know, yeah, I got my dad, see? I want to go in and tell them we mean business, see? All they're doing, everybody who's ever done that in your entire life, they are imitating Edward G. Robinson in this movie. A little, you know, and I think now Jimmy Cagney gets most of the credit for that, but Robinson was first and deserves that credit. So Jack Warner was right about a lot of things. The success of Warner Brothers bears that out. I would like to also point out, though, that in the beginning of Talkies, Jack Warner is quoted as saying, the close-up in Hollywood is dead. It's all going to be replaced by 3D films. in 1930. I guess you could argue that he was prophetic. It's not really true. 3D films haven't taken over, but the close-up still very much a part of what's happening in Hollywood. So Warner has this great idea for the film, and he wants a specific kind of actor in the movie and a specific actor to play opposite Edward G. Robinson as Rico. And then Mervyn LeRoy and Hal Wallace come to him, led by LeRoy, as Wallace says, with another suggestion. And he says, I got this a very sexy actor, I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but I got this super sexy actor, a young sexy actor, and the quote exactly from LeRoy is, "Women in the audience will be eating out of his hand, this actor, and you must cast him as Rico's friend, Massera, in the film." So Jack Warner says, no, under no circumstances will we cast this actor. He has, quote, ears like an elephant. Warner referred to him as a big ape, and tried to get LeRoy to pay for the $500 that he had spent on the screen test. He considered it such a waste of time. As a result, since Warner said no, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., as you'll see, gets the role here, and you probably can figure out the rest of the story. So Clark Gable went ahead and signed with MGM. And that was that. There had been, and Robinson also, before we show the movie, you should also know that this is one of the smartest actors to ever work in Hollywood. When he comes aboard, there is this effort, as there always been, to sign a 7-year contract, where Robinson gets rich, but Warner controls everything about his career. If he wants to have him to sell him to another studio for $50,000, $100,000, that money just goes to Warner. Robinson would have made none of that. He's under contract, and Warner gets to send him to whatever he wants. So Edward G. Robinson says no, which was not really done in 1930 or 31. He negotiated a deal instead at Warner Brothers where he would be paid a fee per movie. And he also negotiated in his contract 4 months off per year. And Robinson said, "I became a businessman. I looked at the small print. I demanded and got 4 months off each year to do a play. I never used it." But that wasn't Jack Warner's fault. That was entirely mine. Robinson, it should be noted, as I said, really one of the smartest guys in Hollywood. When he died in the 1970s, shortly after making a film, Soylent Green, where he was riddled with cancer at the time, he could barely hear, but he had at that point one of the most important, impressive, and a collection worth the most amount of money, one of the best art collections, privately held art collections in the world. Edward G. Robinson, which is odd for a guy who you're about to see here shoot everyone who irritates him. Before you see it, and this movie, we talked about it a little bit at the end, so many significant things, so many shots in this movie that were later used in other movies, right up to the Godfather, as you'll see when a character here is shot on the steps of a courthouse and he rolls down the bottom. It seems that no one would argue that Martin Scorsese didn't repeat that shot when Barzini is killed in The Godfather. But Edward G. Robinson, I said, incredibly literate man, thoughtful guy, and hated the sound of gunshots, which is a problem when you're making this movie. So eventually, take after take after take, when they'd have a gunshot, he would blink, and really blink. So I don't know whether I believe this story, but I'm going to repeat it as if it's true. But according to Mervyn LeRoy, they taped Edward G. Robinson's eyelids open. 4 shots with a gunshot. There actually aren't that many shots of Robinson when the gun goes off, but maybe you'll spot one that I missed. So for now, enjoy the movie. Again, I'll be here a little bit afterwards if you want to ask some questions about the movie, mob movies in general, TCM in general, my fascinating gum-chewing life in general. But thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for having me, and enjoy The Little Caesar. Thanks.